Hi. So today we have on this conversation series Devashish Lodha from Calcutta, someone with whom I was interacting virtually since the last 5, 6 years. And yesterday I met him at an IIM Ahmedabad event and I came to know about his accomplishments. And I thought that it's important for someone like Devashish to come and share his experience. So, welcome to the show, Devashish. And
Thank you,
without
Anurag, for
much
having me.
ado, quickly run us through your profile and then we can get on to these questions.
Sure, Anurag. So, I'm a chartered accountant like Anurag. So, I completed my CA in 2019. Along with that, I had also completed my BCom from St. Xavier's. So, post clearing my CA, I worked with EY for about 1.5 years in their due diligence practice. And after that, I was fortunate enough to get into IIM Ahmedabad's 2-year flagship program. So, I just graduated from IIM Ahmedabad's PGP program a couple of months back, and I'll be joining a private equity firm in the coming few days.
All right, fantastic. So now two ranks in CA. You were a rank holder both in CA Inter and CA Final. How did the job market respond to your aspirations in terms of, you wanting to get into management consulting or venture capital, private equity? So because we want to then compare the post CA vis-a-vis the post MBA life. So when you had graduated with a rank in both CA Inter
Hmm.
and Final, how did the job market respond to your aspirations? कहाँ ट्राई
Sure.
किया था and what did?
Sure. So what happened was during my term, like a couple of terms before my attempt in CA, so ICA had come up with the new course, old course system. So what happened because of that was there were a lot of rankers because of that. So there were 50 rankers in both old course, new course, and there was overlapping rankers as well. So there was about close to 200 rankers during my term. So what happened was that even the jobs which were available only for rankers, the competition in that increased a lot. So the likes of BCG Bain, which used to hire like only 2 to 3 folks from my from in my batch, the pool was suddenly increased from 100 people to 200 people. And similarly for other companies as well, which held exclusive placements for rankers like the likes of ABG or a Marico, again the pool was increased for them as well. So I mean the competition was intense, and it was not easy to even get your CV shortlisted and get an interview invite after getting a rank in both IPCC and final. I got a few shortlists, but I was not able to convert them. So I had ended up in the due diligence practice at EY, which was the next best option I had after giving all the interviews which I got for exclusive CA rankers.
So then what was the trigger for the MBA decision? How did you do that? And due diligence being as demanding a profile as it is, then how did you prepare for
Hmm.
CAT, land up in the IIMs, etc.? Take us through that snippet of your life.
Sure. So the first part, the triggers, I mean, there are a lot of triggers during my CA journey as well. So after my IPCC, during the articleship itself, I realized that I was not enjoying stat audit that much. So I was exploring different options, like what are the other options that I could go into. Like I really felt fascinated by management consulting and the IBPE world. So got myself enrolled into the CFA program to know more about it. Then I also talked to a few folks from my school itself who had gone to do MBA from IIM Ahmedabad and Bangalore. So came to know about MBA from them, and that really interested me at that time. And I also watched your videos as well. So your PGPX experience was also something that motivated me as well to get into IIM Ahmedabad. Now post CA, like I said, like I wasn't able to get into the exclusive management consulting and the IBP world. That was, I think, one of the main triggers again that I wanted to get into this roles. So I think MBA made a lot of sense for me after that. And since I was only 21 at that time, I had a lot of time in my hand, and I didn't have, fortunately, any financial burden from my family as well to kind of take care of them. So I had a lot of time in my hand to again invest 2 years more into education. So that was, I think, the triggers. And I think when it came to preparations, how did I manage it? The second part of the question, uh, like I would say, I was lucky that uh, COVID hit right after I started my job, so I had a lot of time. So we had work from home instead of going to office. So that morning part of 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. that was completely free for me to kind of give myself time for the CAT preparation. That I utilized a lot, and I think I used to give a mock test every day for last 3 or 4 months before the CAT exam. So I gave close to 100 mock tests. So I think that kind of really helped me to clear CAT and get into M.
Okay, okay. And did you take some coaching and stuff for CAT?
No, I didn't take any formal coaching. So I had bought just Arun Sharma books, which are the recommended ones. I think everyone has it who gives CAT. And I just took mock test papers for the coaching institute. So you can buy the mock test paper packs. So they give like 30 test papers along with some sample questions as well. So you can simulate the CAT environment. They have like a proper interface. So I used to give that, study from Arun Sharma books and give mock tests.
And then you actually analyze your responses also then subsequently after the mocks, because that
Correct.
analyzing is important, right?
Right. So again, one thing that was very fortunate for me, I think the CAT time kind of got reduced. So previously, CAT used to happen for 3 hours. Now it happens for 2 hours. So what I used to do was give a exam from like 6:30 to 8:30, analyze for another hour or so till 9:30, 10, and then get back to my regular job from 10 a.m. That was my schedule.
Now coming to IIM Ahmedabad, once you landed on that campus, so what were those tangible, intangible takeaways from this 2 year journey? And yeah, what did you enjoy the most on campus? What did you learn? And chartered accountancy, what are the gaps that an MBA fills? Because a lot of chartered accountants are told that, the CA is much more than an MBA, and Ratan Tata has told, and whatever. So what are the
Mhm.
tangible, intangible benefits that you have?
So in terms of tangible, I think the first thing when once you enter IIM is that you get into that like a CV preparation mode. The place comms kind of get behind your back to make your CV and start preparing for the summer internship process. So right from that point itself, I could see the benefits because there was like a formal process in place to kind of help me get into the best jobs possible. And again, from the company's side also, there was a lot of competition amongst companies now to hire chartered accountants who are a rare commodity in IIMs. So that was a very shocking, and a very, good thing for chartered accountants itself in the campus because now the companies were fighting for them instead of them fighting for companies. So I think that was one of the tangible benefits. And of course, the growth in these companies, the likes of McKinsey, BCG, Bain, or you get into the bulge bracket IBs or Ps. I mean, the growth that you can experience once you get into these companies is a lot. So I think from that perspective, like from a job perspective, the tangible benefits is huge, I would say. And the intangibles, of course, you get a chance to network with a lot of smart folks from around the country. And CA being a distance learning education, at the end of the day, you don't get to interact with a lot of people. You are kind of restricted to your own city and your own coaching class or probably your articleship office. Now you're able to interact with people from around the country and from the best of minds. So I think that was a huge intangible benefit. And of course, the chance to meet alumni who have done great things in their lives already. So I think those are few intangible benefits that I see.
And how did the job market then reciprocate to that same aspirational Devashish once you were there? And you said, for example, the companies were competing for you. Please
Right.
elaborate on that because that's like music to my ears once.
Right. So, I mean, so this is very common across IM. So there are not many CAs who kind of get into the top IM. So, I mean, there are a lot of IITians who get into it, but there are lot of CAs who get into IMs. So the CA course itself has given you a lot of technical kind of skills. So you know the accounting, you have already worked for at least 3 years during your articleship, if not more. After completing CA, you have already, probably have worked for 1 or 2 years more into the full-time job as well. So the technical skills are already in place for chartered accountants, and companies know that. So that is the reason, kind of, because of which they are fighting for chartered accountants, because you already have those hard skills in place, like making Excel models or building PowerPoint to kind of present to clients. The soft skills are already there because you have been trained during your articleship to kind of present to the board. So I think those are the reasons which kind of separates the CAs once you get into IMs from the IITs. I think that was the reason. And because your CV is also kind of, I think, more stacked up compared to IITians because you have worked, I think, for 3 years more compared to IITians. So I think that also plays a role because you have a lot more to write on your CV, a lot more tangible things to write on your CV rather than just competing in, say, a case competition because you have already worked for about 3 years. I think those are the things which kind of helps you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, yeah, this is really, music to my ears because we do mentoring of a lot of CA students. We run CA job portal and we see that people are suboptimally spending their life trying to work on profiles which will never make them rich. They will only make them tired at the end of the day. But they have inhibitions in their mind around this whole idea of doing an MBA. the cost involved, the 2 years involved. So what would be your limited thoughts on that?
I think you're taking a very short term view if you're just thinking the cost involved from like just the sunk cost, like 2 years salary and the 2 year MBA program cost. I think that is a very short term view, and then comparing with your salary, your initial salary, which you will get. I think that's not the correct way to measure, because I think the kind of growth that you would see after a few initial few years into the job, if you are doing well and you're doing your work sincerely, is unmatchable. So, for example, the consulting firms, it's well known that they give 20 to 30% raise every year if you are performing well, which is unheard of in any other industry. And even in finance industries, you get bonuses which are like 50 to 100% of your base salary. So I think those are something which will not be available in your traditional CA jobs like your audit or taxation. So if you want to get into these, I think you should look at a little longer term perspective, not just compare your initial salary with your, say, a sunk cost and your MBA fees.
And the whole MBA cost can be financed by a bank without any
Of
collateral.
course, I mean, right. So once you get your admission letter, the next email is from different banks to kind of give you loans at a very, very low cost. So you get like a 6.5% rate of interest on your loans. And you get a huge moratorium
And
as
there's
well
no
to kind of pay.
collateral.
No collateral. Plus you get a moratorium. You don't need to pay anything for the first 3 4 years. So I think it's a very good loan option that you get also.
Yeah, and the other bottleneck is the cat, but I think people who are intelligent enough will can work, and it's not really requiring some rocket science IQ as such. I think cat.
Right. So it's basic, it's very basic, like it's your 10, 12 maths, English, but you need to give a lot more effort into it because it's more a game of speed and accuracy. So what I think happens, you need to, I mean, change your mindset a bit. So in CAs, you are, while you're giving a CA exam, you are into that mode of answering every question and trying to gather as much marks as possible in each and every question. But here in CAT, you have to kind of pick and choose the right questions. You need to skip a few questions, see what are your strengths, manage your time as well, and try to get your answers quickly out as well. So I think it's a little more different game than a CA exam. I think a mindset shift is required. But I mean, there's a lot of benefits as well. So if you look at your top B schools, they give a lot of advantage indirectly to chartered accountants and commerce graduates. So you don't need to score very high, like a 99.9 or something to get into it. If you're getting like a 99 or 98, you have a decent shot of converting these B schools.
Absolutely brilliant. So Devashish, while I'll share your LinkedIn profile in the description, and people can just search you, and so you are joining Azim Premji's Premji
Yeah,
Ventures.
Premji Invest. So I'll be joining there in the investments team.
Fantastic. So you that's like a dream profile for people as an associate. Any final 60 seconds of advice to people before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to reiterate that if you have just completed your CA and you are probably looking or exploring options, you should definitely consider an MBA as well, if it suits your profile, and if you are interested into getting into profiles like management consulting and private equity or I banking, let's say, you should definitely consider MBA program. At least give CAT a couple of times. There's no harm in giving CAT. The fees is hardly 1,000, 2,000 rupees to kind of give a shot at least and see if it helps you, or and also talk to people, because once you talk to folks who have graduated from these institutes, you will kind of realize the value that this degree holds. I mean, it's unparalleled, I would say.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Devashish. And I'm sure this is going to plant some dreams in some eyes which are aspirational. Thank you,
Yeah,
and let's stay connected. Bye bye.
sure. Thank you, Anurag. Thanks for having me.